Hello everybody. Gonna wait for everybody to get with us in cyberspace, make a few adjustments. I'll take this time to say that this broadcast was originally recorded as a live Facebook video for the Self-Sewn Wardrobe group. So if you want to get special coupon codes, get a chance to watch live videos, and get questions answered live on Facebook, then go to facebook.com/groups/self-sewn wardrobe and request to join, and I will approve you. Oh, and then I'm gonna break a rule here real quick, and I left a couple of my samples right over there. So today I came in and sewed up a few samples with the Serger, and I will post more detailed pictures of those in the podcast show notes and also in the group and on the blog, because today we're talking about Serger thread colors. This came up because a few people in the group are sewing some underwear. But first I want to remind everyone that we are launching our first enamel lapel pin. I'm so excited. I love to create lots of things, not just clothing, and so we have a phrase around here that a lot of you know from the Sewing Out Loud podcast and from posts in the group, and that is, feel free to compliment me. And I'll post a link to a blog post about where exactly this came from. And but we always want to let you know that you can feel free to compliment us, and we will feel free to compliment you. Hello to everybody who's watching: Jacqueline, Sharice, Melody, Karen. I think I saw Sandy and Glenda, and my mom is watching. Thank you all for tuning in. The feel free to compliment me lapel pin, we have just gotten them into production, and so we're waiting on a couple of proofs to come back, and then the pins will be shipped very soon. They should be available by late November, but I'm allowing you guys to pre-order them, and I just wanted to get you in on the process a little bit and show you that this is the original the drawing that the pin came from. And so this was hand lettered by me, and I had a really good time designing it, and so then Becca worked her magic in Illustrator, and she made it into something that can be made into an enamel lapel pin, and I'm so excited. This also sort of brings up the wardrobe planner idea that I talked about. So I think it was last Friday, I think, and I was like, I want to do a wardrobe planner, and then a couple people were like, oh, Colette came out with a sewing planner, and I was like, man, I've been thinking about this for like months and months, and Colette is such a big brand, and they're so fabulous, and I'm like, oh, like, do I just give up? Do I just throw in the towel on this? And I'm not going to. A lot of you were very supportive. I appreciate it. Of course, I know that, you know, there's not just like one of everything out there in the world. I mean, there are lots of different types of cars, and as anybody who's ever been in the store knows, I own at least like 100 different times of different types of notebooks. So I know that there's room for more than one planner in the world, but I took a look at the Colette planner, and I do think mine will be kind of different from theirs, actually. And anyway, I'm working on the design for that planner right now, and I thought I would share one of the designs. This is maybe one of the differences between the Colette planner and what I was sort of thinking of with this wardrobe planner. I was thinking of lots of challenges to help you reevaluate your wardrobe, and also the chance to actually plan, to, you know, write down, hey, I'm going to focus on making, you know, shirts this month or this week or whatever. And so this hand lettering design here says month of making, and it is a little mock-up of some of the hand lettering that's going to be incorporated into the Self-Sewn Wardrobe Planner. So I just thought I'd share kind of the creative process that I'm going through to do these things, and let you all know kind of what's coming up. I want to congratulate everyone who's cleaned out their closets. I finally, I apologize for the delay, I posted the closet reflection questions from the previous video, and I posted the blog post that has my answers to them. And then I want to congratulate Noah on his first pair of Comox trunks. This is a pattern from Thread Theory, and Noah made these trunks, made a few alterations. There's a picture in the group if you wish to see it. Just search for Noah, and I believe his post should come up. And I think it was maybe in that thread of comments, or perhaps in another one, that people were talking about serger thread color. I think someone else had asked, they said, I'm making a white garment, but I have light purple serger thread in my serger, can I still use it? And I wanted to kind of do a few visuals for you in this video and answer some questions about that. Mom and I just released a podcast, an episode of the Sewing Out Loud podcast about serger thread, and we went kind of in depth into, like, we went sort of broad about decorative threads and about how you can use them and how you can use embroidery thread in your serger, etc. And so today I just want to address the topic of, like, what serger thread is going to show when you use your serger. Do you need all different colors of serger thread? And those of you listening via podcast do not know and cannot see that I have almost all 48 colors of Madeira Aerolock serger thread spread out in front of me at the moment. So we've got everything here from light purple, dark purple, several different shades of yellow and gold, etc., etc. And here's an orange one. So anyway, there are tons of different colors of serger thread that they offer, but a lot of people were saying, hey, you only need the neutrals. You only need, you know, black and white or some grays or something like that. And I'd like to address that. First of all, I think that the neutrals are where you should start. And when someone buys a serger from us, whether it's a 4-thread serger or one of the bigger 8-thread sergers, I tell them to get 4 light colors and 4 dark colors. So the serger thread's on sale, and I'll put the coupon code in the comments on this video, but I don't have black and white here. But when someone buys a serger, I say get black, get a dark gray, get a navy, and then like a dark brown or something like that. And then you will have those 4 dark hues. You'll have, you know, several hues in the same value, right? Anyway, and then I tell them to get 4 light ones. So you'd say a white, an eggshell, a light gray, and maybe even a yellow if you're a yellow person. Why do we need all these different colors? Okay, that's kind of the question. So sometimes a serger is used to actually put together a garment. It's a seam, and I'm gonna hold up a sample here, and this is just a piece of green ponte that I have done a 3-thread overlock on, and so it's nice and stretchy both ways, which is what we like about sergers, that you can stretch all of those. You can stretch everything, all your garments, without popping those stitches. And anyway, Noah said that it's your needle thread that matters, and that's what I wanted to point out, that it really is the needle thread on seams that will show. So I told you all to get 4 dark and 4 light, so that if you are serging a brown garment, you're gonna say, hey, here's my dark colors, and I'm gonna pick out the brown, and it's gonna go in the needle on my serger. Or if you're serging that yellow garment, you're like, oh good, Mallory told me to get a light yellow. I'm gonna put that yellow in the needle, or the leftmost needle if you're doing a 4-thread, on my serger. And why is that? So this might be a little bit hard to see live, but I'll post some detail shots, and we'll edit it into the video that gets posted on YouTube. This sample here is a 3-thread overlock, so I've got 3 threads, which means I have 1 needle and 2 loopers. And so I have all black threads in the serger for this sample on this green fabric. And when I turn my seam right sides out, everything looks all fine and dandy until it stretches. And if you look really close, when you stretch this seam, you see some black thread, which, you know, it depends on how particular you are and what you're making. If you're making a Halloween costume that's going to be worn for 2 minutes, hey, just go for it. Leave whatever's in your serger, right? But if you are making something where, you know, you might see that, you might be concerned. And why are we seeing any thread at all? Is that bad? Is that good? The reason we're seeing some thread is because a serger stitch is a less stable stitch than the stitch on your sewing machine. An overlock stitch made by the serger is not a lock stitch that is made by the sewing machine. It is less stable, and that's the beauty of it. It allows the fabric to stretch and give and conform to your body as you're doing yoga and paddleboarding and all that jazz. So we see a little bit of the threads as that fabric stretches over our bodies, okay? Now I have a second sample where I did a 3-thread overlock. Once again, same thing on the same fabric, and I put a green thread in my needle, and I left those same 2 black threads in my loopers. So when I turn the fabric right side out, once again without stretching, everything's fine and dandy, and then when I do stretch it, I only see a little bit of green thread, okay? So that's fabulous, and I left those black threads inside. So if it truly is a seam, if it's something that's, you know, not going to be seen from the outside, the only thread you really need to match is the needle thread, okay, as long as you're not too particular. Now, years ago, Mom and I ran a sale on this serger thread, and someone contacted us and said, I want 4 white, 4 black, and then I want 2 of every color off the display. And of course, if that is what you want, I will ship it to you, okay? But it is not necessary, okay? Like I said, get those 4 darks, get those 4 lights, okay? And then if you are somebody and you love green or you love purple, and you know I am going to serge tons of green and purple things, then do get those specialty colors. But you only need 1, probably, okay? You don't need like 4 of every color in the 48 thread display, okay? So that is just, you know, my tips and for saving money on serger thread. Serger thread lasts a long time. It really does. So these spools retail without a discount code or anything like that, $5.99 for 2,300 yards, or excuse me, 2,000 yards. I guess is it 2,300 meters? Anyway, so it's just, it's you know, you don't need to break the bank on stuff like this, and slowly build your color library as you sew garments. Marissa says, I've always used 4 of the same color, which is why 90% of my garments have white. This is such a great idea. Okay, so Marissa, let's pretend, I don't know if this is true, let's pretend you only own 4 white and 4 black serger threads, right? It's probably going to get you pretty far. But if you are ever going to sew something where the white would show and you wouldn't like that, like if you're kind of in the middle of the road on the value scale, like what if your garment is a lightish blue and you don't want to see white and you don't want to see black? That might be a time when you're like, hey, I'm going to invest $6 in building my serger color library. Oh, here's a good medium blue tone. I'm going to invest $6 in my serger library, and I'm going to own, you know, one color that'll match this garment. So Fred says, I don't have to pretend that is what I have. Amy says, this cracks me up. I bought my baby lock about a week ago and bought 4 spools of purple because I was working on a purple knit. Great info. It's not bad. It's not bad to buy 4 of a color. I'm just saying, you know, this is a tip that you can use. And I love thread. I would have every color of every thread, have a thread displays all over my house if I could. But there is, you know, a room issue. Like a couple colors, you know, I wouldn't use a whole ton are probably like the, you know, golds and stuff like that. Oh, ZD says, buy color families, 4 different colors of purple, which is great. So Amy, instead of maybe having bought like 4 of the same color of purple, what if you bought like this dark purple, this light purple, and actually that's all that Madeira Aerolock offers in the way of purple, but then you bought a blue and a light blue or something like that. And so you can do all sorts of color blending with the serger, but it's not necessary to have 4 of every color. So, you know, sergers are a place where a lot of people, and Glenn just said, I want a serger, but I feel like I have to justify why I'm buying it. You know, I can help you justify buying a serger because I use mine all the time, but it's not it's not a cheap investment for sure in your sewing. And then when you think about you know, thread investment and all that, if you're going to take that into account and be a really good budgeter, maybe this is somewhere where you can be like, oh, Mallory taught me how to save money, so yeah. Anyway, those are kind of my tips on the serger thread buying. And if you ever come in our store, if you ever, you know, visit or buy a serger here, we'll help you out with that. Sarah says, oh, I need to buy serger thread. The original cones are about run out. But what I had read was, I need to buy a new serger. The original cones are about run out. I'm very passionate about the Baby Lock sergers. I know about other brands of sergers. I have helped people thread them. There are things about the Baby Locks that make them a lot easier. It also makes them a lot more expensive. But I think maybe for one of these videos I should thread a Baby Lock serger for you, just show you how the most basic one works, because we all know that it's really hard to find time to sew. And if you have to spend 45 minutes threading a serger, that's not at all efficient. Now, there are people who have sergers that are not Baby Locks and they have no trouble with them, and they're like, mine works just fine. But there are also a lot of people who don't feel that way. There are people who have a lot of trouble with a serger that doesn't thread itself. But there are, I hate to make such a broad generalization, but I believe there are no people who have a problem with the self-threading sergers. So, Marty says, I've been dying to ask, but I've been afraid to. How much does a mid-range Baby Lock cost? I have an ancient Bernina and it works fine, but it takes me an hour to thread. So, as a Baby Lock dealer, I'm technically not allowed to like give out pricing over the internet. This Facebook group thing is a little kind of like blurring the line. I can give them out in my newsletter, da-da-da-da-da. You're looking at around $1,000 to start off with. That's all I can, that's what I can say. If you want specific prices on every model, just shoot me an email and I can give it to you like that. I'll just send you our price list. What makes the Baby Lock specials, what makes the Baby Locks special are the auto threading, and not only that, but the no threading order. That's the huge deal. And there was a young lady in here. Oh, Marty says, fair enough, we have a dealer locally, but I'm afraid to go in. Oh, don't be afraid. I hope they're really nice. I know that, of course, there are lots of different types of people in the world, and not every Baby Lock dealer is maybe like the most amazing person, but I know a lot of them, and I really like them. Just go in and check them out. And it's important to have a supportive dealer, for sure. But yeah, check them out, give them a call. Marty, tell me who your dealer is and I'll talk to him first, okay? And we always say, you know, it is best to buy from a nice supportive dealer. There was a young woman in here for Open Studio the other day, and her story is, everybody go read Amy's comment about serger pricing. So, there was a young woman in here the other day for Open Studio, and she had like a Singer serger that like her mom bought her on Amazon, and she is supposed to be doing alterations for their dress shop in a town about an hour away from here, and she's never sewn before. So that comes with like a whole host of problems already. But I was helping her thread this serger, and it took us a long time, even though we threaded it and we got it working, but there were so many things about it that were so much more difficult. And I believe the serger cost like $350 or something. $350 versus $1,000 versus other prices. They go up from there. It's a big price difference. But I feel like your time is worth a lot too. Also, I think we mentioned this in the Sewing Out Loud podcast that Mom's first Baby Lock Imagine Serger is about 20 years old and it's on its third owner. So when we talk about making an investment and justifying it, it is a machine that could last you the rest of your life. The reason Mom doesn't have, oh, if you're having a little bit of streaming issues, sorry about that. Anyway, so the Baby Lock Sergers are fabulous. I can thread one for you. If you want, tell me if you'd like me to do that. I don't want to get too salesy. I can't sell them online anyway, so I'm just kind of doing a free commercial for Baby Lock here. But I do want to point out, there were a couple comments earlier about the wardrobe planner. People asking for something they could print and put in a 3-ring binder, and that is exactly what I am thinking of. I plan on making it something that can be printed on full-size paper or on smaller paper, and then you may bind it as you wish. I like these ARC planners from Staples, but like I said, I am a super duper planner crazy person, and notebook crazy person. So anyway, I love to buy different notebooks and everything, but this allows you to insert pages at any point, just like a 3-ring binder really, but you can get this size in a 3-ring binder as well. It's just this lets you customize and have different pretty covers and stuff, and it's expensive though. So anyway, I do plan to make the wardrobe planner a digital download that has all of the hand lettered things, challenges I'm planning, etc., etc. I want to design it. I want to make it really nice, and so that you can customize your wardrobe planner as you wish. I was a little worried about making it a digital download. Someone had given me the advice not to do that, and but they don't work for me anymore, so I'll listen to all of you. Okay, one more example of serger thread. Mom's just gonna be like throwing up over there across the airwaves. This is the Easy Tee that I was wearing yesterday. This Easy Tee is a black sweater knit with some gold thread in it, and I don't know what was going on the day I made it. Oh yes, I do. I think we had another class going on in here, like a quilting class. And I just wanted to get this made so badly, and the thread that was in the serger, there was white thread in the loopers, and so you can see in the video, I think pretty clearly, that on the inside of my shirt there's white thread on the seam, but I made sure to put black thread in the needles, and so then when I do stretch out my shirt, you don't see any white thread. It's only on the inside. It's only gonna bother my mom if she sees the inside of my shirt. So, oh, Sophie says, I sometimes have to stop myself from buying all of the notebooks. It's a real problem. Sorry, Sophie, I'm not going to be able to help you there. I'm going to do my best to make you want my notebook. Sarah says, my serger is working fine for me, but I love to see what I'm missing out with the Baby Lock, so I can want it even more. And that is, I can't believe that Baby Lock doesn't kind of like, not advertise, but like, tell people what's going on with their machines more. Like, I don't think people realize how special they are, and it doesn't mean that everyone should buy one, that everyone can afford one, etc., but I do think that they are really impressive, and so I would I'd love to thread one for you, so maybe I'll do that tomorrow. It won't take long at all. Somebody said, can you do it in a separate video so not everyone has to watch? Well, it's literally going to take me like 2 minutes. Actually, it probably won't even take me that long. I might thread it and then explain it. But hey, why don't I do that tomorrow? I'll thread a serger for you all. I'll thread it up for a 4-thread overlock. I'll try to get the camera in a place where everything can be seen really well. So let me write that down in one of my many notebooks. I know that a few comments came in and I didn't get to answer them, so I will be going back in the video and checking them out, and I will be answering your questions. And I'm really excited to share the Baby Lock sergers with you. I'm going to do that tomorrow at 9 a.m. Central Standard Time. If you don't want to watch, you don't have to, but it's just going to be fun, guys. I bet some people get kind of like angry when I talk about the Baby Lock Sergers, and there's no reason to be angry. I know that people have other brands, but I actually had a couple people say that they stopped listening to our podcast because we just loved Baby Lock so much. And I don't know, I'm not going to apologize for advocating for a piece of equipment that I literally use every day and that my mother has used for 20 years. Like, there's just no charlatanism there at all. It's perfectly honest representation of how the machine works. So anyway, sorry, I'll get off my high horse again, but it's been fabulous talking with you all. I finished another Easy Tee. Actually, I guess I lied. I haven't finished it. It's not hemmed on the bottom, but it's made from silk that I got from LA Finch Fabrics, and I absolutely love it. And so anyway, I'll post a better picture of it later. Thank you all for listening, and if you haven't yet, if you're listening to this as a podcast or watching it as a YouTube video, go to facebook.com/groups/self-zone wardrobe and request to join the group. Thank you all for watching and listening.